As far as lightsabers, does it get any more OG than the Obi-Wan Kenobi Episode 4 lightsaber? I think not, and I'm really excited to take a look at this one, so let's get at it.
Hello there. Obi-Wan Kenobi. Obi-Wan. Now that's a name I've not heard in a long time. Long time.
I think my uncle knows him. He said he was dead.
No, he's not dead. Not yet.
Hello there, what is up everybody? Welcome back to the Collector's Outpost. I am John. Today we're taking a look at the brand new steel version. Ooh. I think I almost died. Today we're taking a look at the brand new steel version of the Obi-Wan Kenobi Episode 4 lightsaber, the OG of all lightsabers right here. As some of you may already know, I don't have a most favorite lightsaber in the world. I love so many different lightsabers for so many different reasons, but I love stories of lightsabers. And going back to the original stories, the original 3, 4, 5, and 6, original 3, 4, 5, and the original 3, 4, 5, and 6, not 3, 4, 5, and 6. I mean, episode 4, episode 5, and episode 6. You know where I'm going, right? With Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi. But the lightsabers from the original trilogy have stories from real world stuff. You know, they weren't designed in a lab by a bunch of people sculpting and everything. They were grabbed from real world parts and put together so that we have what we know of a lightsaber. It's got grenades, it's got machine guns, it's got Rolls-Royce engine parts, it's got a sync part. But not only that, the stunt versions of this lightsaber were also passed down to Luke. So Luke Skywalker, when we see him using his first lightsaber in Return of the Jedi, it's actually the stunt version of this lightsaber. So let's get to it. I want to thank Vaders Sabers for sending this bad boy on over to me. I'll put a direct link and discount code for you down below if you want to check this out and everything else that Vaders Sabers has to offer, including my own designed lightsaber, the Duality. My Duality lightsaber is exclusively at Vaders Sabers, and as of this video, I already know that there are less than 10 available, and I do not 100% know if we're going to do a second run. We made only 100 Dualities, and I am very thankful to every one of you because almost all of 100 lightsabers sold in almost 6 months. That is amazing. Thank you all so much for that. So before we dig on into this bad boy, if you're new here, thank you so much for stopping by. Please drop down, hit the like, subscribe, and notification button for upcoming videos. I got a lot of lightsabers and I got a bunch of 6-scale figures coming up. And if you are a returning viewer and a friend of the channel, hello there. Let's get on into this unboxing. So you can see that right off the back, this thing is stunning. Now I also have 2 other versions to show you right next to it just to compare, but let me tell you, this was designed off of, from what I understand, all original parts by Anakin Starkiller from Star's End. Now, as soon as you pick it up, you can see his logo right down there at the bottom. And if you remember, I also showed you the Luke V2 that was also designed by Anakin Starkiller of At Star's End. He meticulously designs everything from as many real-world parts as he can. So I do believe that pretty much everything we see here is as accurate to the originals as you're gonna find. I'm actually gonna get together with Anakin Starkiller really soon to compare this to his actual Obi-Wan Kenobi made of real world parts. Very soon to see how accurate this is compared to the stuff that this is actually made from. It's great because it's not often or ever I may ever see a lightsaber, the Kenobi lightsaber, from its actual parts. Super rare, and I'm really excited to see that. So keep an eye on the channel for that because that should be coming out pretty soon. Digging on a little further, we do have a second emitter cap. This has that extra little piece of meat there at the top for your blade because, as most of us all know, these thin necks, they do not hold much blade. There's like nothing in there. And we also get our USB charging cable and an Allen key. This is an SNV4 Pro board, and you're gonna love the chassis on this one, so don't leave. But you have your manual and your app guide. Of course, you'll have a nice display to display your lightsaber, and you'll also get a plaque to pop right on in your display stand. So that'll look great on your shelves. Love it. And last but not least, of course, you'll get your pixel blade. This one is a 1-inch, 32-inch blade. Now this also came with a blade plug, and I'm saving this for last because I have to show you something. If you get this blade plug, and you can see it has this acrylic bottom here and the metal top, it will not fit in this lightsaber like so. Okay, so what you have to do to make this fit properly is just screw off this little acrylic bottom. It will be hollow in there, you can see. And just make sure that your lightsaber is turned off because this is metal. You don't want it to hit the pins and accidentally short something out. But with that acrylic bottom off, this will fit in there perfectly. There we go. Now I'm going to immediately address the next question. How does that stay in there? And can I use the blade without the extra emitter on the top here? The answer ultimately is yes, but I do not recommend using the blade like this. So this top does screw off, all right? And over here, you'll see holes for your extra retention screws. There are 1, 2, 3, 4 retention screw spots right here. So you can see right in where the threads are, the holes for your retention screws. So the answer is yes, you can pop your blade in there, okay? And put your retention screws down and pop down your normal emitter. However, I don't recommend that, and I'll show you why. Even if you put in 4 retention screws, get on this camera here, that's all you have inside the emitter. You're barely getting in the PCB connection there, and just a hair or so of the blade. So that's definitely something I do not recommend doing. Maybe if you're taking a photo or two, you just want your regular emitter in there, not bad. But I would not recommend that for any kind of spinning or especially dueling or anything. Definitely use the extended emitter. But as far as the blade plug, yep, pop that on in there, tighten that down with a single retention screw, pop your emitter on, and boom, good to go. So one of the most beautiful things about this particular lightsaber is the chassis. This thing is absolutely stunning. All right, so this whole piece comes off. Then you're gonna unscrew the buttons just a bit, just so the plunger connections don't touch the actual chassis. Then you're gonna flip around to the other side, and right in that little hole, you have a retention screw. So you're gonna undo that. Yeah, it's a little bit of a process, but it's gonna be worth it, trust me. All right, and the chassis slides right out. Now check this design out. I mean, I've said this before, but a few years ago, even back when I just first started really collecting, like 3 years ago, you could not get any sort of chassis or anything with a crystal in this sort of design in this price range. They were well over $1,000. I mean, this is absolutely stunning. You have this whole brass crystal chamber section in it, a very nice crystal. If you need to get to your SD card, you can see your SD card right there. And right around back, you have your USB-C charging port. I believe I could see the battery right under there. So the lightsaber itself was designed by Anakin Starkiller of Star's End, and this chassis comes to us from the taco shop. Right over there, we have our kill switch, and I hope everything just continues coming with kill switches. And we have our power button right there, and check that out. I mean, this whole thing just speaks for itself. That is amazing. And that's a really nice crystal too. Now, when you're popping this back on in, do keep in mind where the screw is and where the buttons on the other side are, because you will have to line that up again. So this is your button side, and right around here, you'll see the little area for the screw right there. All right, you can see one of the buttons line up right there. And before I'm going to tighten these down, I'm going to tighten this down just to make sure that this is in the right spot. Hopefully it is. Oh, bam, got it. All right. And then screw your buttons back down. Here's the lineup that I have here. The first one I purchased was this one here, which was the Saber Forge, which is very nice, but there are some differences here. First off is their grips here are very long, and this being, I believe, based more on the actual dimensions and everything of the actual prop. They're almost double the size of this one here, the new SNV4. Now, one of the original things that I loved about the Saber Forge when I first got it, but got really old and annoying over time, was the blade connection here. You can see down inside there's a pin that's actually like a headphone plug, a headphone jack, down there. And the blade itself had the female version of this that you basically plugged it in and screwed it down. Let me tell you, that for a thin neck is a fantastic design, because once it's in there and locked down, it is in there and locked. That blade is not coming out after that because it is screwed down nice and tight. However, you start learning really quick that there's not many blades like that out there, and every blade that you can really get your hands on, you know, Quantum blades, Quad Star blades, KR blades, they have those PCB connections, that flat connection that we always see. So the blade for this was not very bright. And you know, it's things like that that you learn over time. They're like, this could be better, that could be better. But the blade thing was a little annoying. And over here, this is just magnetically popped on. And I can't tell you how many times, just by fiddling around, that this thing has just flown off. And I thought I lost it a few times. This, I do wish this was just a regular clamp that you can kind of just lock that down. And the Saber Forge did have a crystal. I did buy the crystal chamber one, which is very nice, but not nearly as bright as the new SNV4. Now moving on over to the 89 Sabers, you can see it's actually a little hard to tell these guys apart. I mean, it's almost bang on, but when you're really digging on in there for some detail, you know, you can find it. You can see the text around the ring for the new one from the company that made it. Yeah, it was here, but I think I may have accidentally sanded it off when I was doing the weathering on this. This did not come weathered. This, what you see here, is exactly how you'll get it. I had to do this whole weathering process on the 89 Sabers to get it to look like this. But all of this was super clean. This is also made of steel, just like this one, but it is actually a little bit lighter. But just looking through the whole thing, some of the details are a little hard to distinct unless you're really looking for them. Right up over here on these grips, these are slightly different. This has way more of a separation than these guys here at the top. These are also just a bit longer than these as well. Now, another thing that this is missing, the 89 Sabers is missing, is the screws here. You could see that the Kenobi has some of these screws, and that is on the regular prop as well. Now, let me show you this guy really quick. This is a mini master replica. So you'll actually see those little screws on here. You'll also see the wire that's supposed to come out of a few things, which you can probably add to yourself if you're that handy. But you can see a screw hole and a wire coming out there. You can see the screw there. You can see another screw hole there with the wire coming out, and you can see another screw there. So there are openings if you want to take it on. There's the hole if you want to add the wire. There's the screw. There's the hole if you want to add the wire. There's the screw. So everything is there for you. They just didn't include the wires. These clamps are almost identical. These bubbles are a little bit different than these bubbles. Now down here at the bottom, this is the SNV4 Pro and this is the 89 Sabers. I do wish there was an alternate pommel cap included. You can see the logo down there, the AS, the Anakin Starkiller logo right there, and what is more like the actual sync prop right here. I wish that they included an alternate display pommel for the SNV4, and maybe they will. Maybe they'll work on that and they'll include a display cap for it. So let's do a quick weigh-in. This is the SNV4 Pro. This is weighing in at 2 pounds, 12.4 ounces, which is slightly less than the last time I weighed it. I think it came in at 2 pounds, 13.5 ounces or something like that. All right, and let's move over to, this is the 89 Sabers. This one's coming in at 2 pounds, 0.1 ounces. And the Saber Forge version, which I believe is the lightest, is coming in at 1 pound, 12.5 ounces. This thing is great. You pick it up, you really do feel like it's made of those real world war parts. You know, we're talking grenades and machine guns and, you know, a real sink and a Rolls-Royce engine, you know, like this is what I think these parts should feel like. And just in case you're curious, the Master Replica 0.45 scale is coming in at 2.8 ounces. It's a little guy. All right, let's move on to the next part, which is the app. This is the SNV4 Pro. So yes, you do have the app to control, which I really like. Now, I'm not gonna do a whole full walkthrough on this. You've seen this a bunch of times on here already. This is the Force Park V2 app. When you wanna connect your Saber, you're just gonna go to that first connection here, which we're already connected, so it's not gonna show anything. But over here, you have your full layout. All right, you have your power up top, blasters, your different auditions and everything of what it does. Now, this is a 32-inch blade, so I usually always have to go and adjust my blade size. So we're gonna go to Data Modify, turn this on, and down over here, light length. So let's adjust for that. So let's say 106.7, about 110. That should be good. I'm gonna leave everything else the same, but there are a lot of settings to go through over here. And you'll know you have it right is when you're testing out the tip drag, and you can see the tip drag down over there. I know it's a little hard to see on the screen, but if you don't see the tip drag here, that means it's past it, so you definitely have to adjust your blade size to the proper length. And then directly under that, you can change your blade colors. Your sound font change is right under that.
Guard, Star Killer, Ventress,
Leia.
Ahsoka, Anakin, Ayla Secura.
All right, let's give this thing a little whirl, see what this is like. Sounds very nice. Now, yeah, I mean, given that this thing is almost 3 pounds, you feel it. You really feel it. Sounds pretty nice.
Ayla Secura. Kenobi.
Nice.
Unstable blade. Pulse blade. Rainbow blade. Infinite blade. Wave blade. Fire blade. Flash blade. Crack blade. Custom blade 1. Hunter ignition. Cross ignition. Phaser ignition. Proton ignition.
All right, my friends, that is the brand new Obi-Wan Kenobi Episode 4 New Hope lightsaber from Vaders Sabers. Thank you so much to Vaders Sabers for sending this over to check out. I'll put a direct link and discount code for you down below in the description. Drop on down into the comments and let me know what you think of the brand new steel Obi-Wan Kenobi lightsaber. And while you're down there, help support the channel by simply hitting the like, subscribe, and notification button for upcoming videos. I have a lot of lightsabers coming and more 6-scale figures that I don't think you're going to want to miss. All right, I will see you all on the next video. Be safe and kind out there in the world. See ya.